Have you ever wondered why losing fat feels impossible, no matter how hard you try? What if I told you it's not your genetics, your metabolism, or even your age, but a few common mistakes that almost everyone makes? These simple errors can sabotage all your progress, even when you're putting in your best effort. In this video, I'll break down the 5 biggest weight loss mistakes holding you back and how to fix them for good. Stick around, because by the end, you'll know exactly what to do to finally see results. Let's be honest, losing fat is hard. It's a process that requires time, effort, and discipline. But nothing is more frustrating than putting in all that effort and feeling like nothing's happening. You eat healthy, you work out, and you do your best to stay consistent, yet the scale doesn't move, and your clothes still fit the same. Trust me, you're not alone in this struggle. The good news is that the issue isn't that fat loss is impossible. Most of the time, it comes down to a few small, avoidable mistakes that make a huge difference. Once you identify these mistakes and fix them, everything changes. Suddenly, your hard work starts paying off, and the results come faster than you expected. So let's talk about the 5 most common weight loss mistakes that are stopping you from losing fat and how to fix them. The first mistake, and probably the most common, is underestimating how much you're eating. It's easy to think you're eating healthy or light. But the reality is, most of us are terrible at guessing portion sizes and calorie counts. For example, imagine you're having avocado toast for breakfast. 2 slices of whole grain bread, half an avocado, maybe a drizzle of olive oil. Sounds like a great meal, right? But do you know how many calories that is? Over 600. And that's if you're being moderate with the portions. If you're not measuring, that number could easily climb higher. The thing is, even small miscalculations add up over time. A handful of nuts here, an extra spoonful of peanut butter there, or a little more pasta on your plate than you intended, it all contributes to your total calorie intake. And when you consistently eat more calories than you burn, fat loss simply can't happen. So, how do you fix this? Start tracking your food. I know, it sounds tedious, but it's one of the most effective tools you can use. A food scale and a calorie tracking app like MyFitnessPal will give you a much clearer picture of what you're actually eating. You don't have to track every meal for the rest of your life, but even doing it for a couple of weeks can be eye-opening. You'll start to understand portion sizes and see where those hidden calories are coming from. Speaking of hidden calories, that brings us to mistake number 2, forgetting about the small things that add up throughout the day. Let me ask you this. When was the last time you tracked the oil you cooked with? Or the splash of cream in your coffee? These little things seem insignificant, but they can make a big difference. A tablespoon of olive oil is 120 calories. Add 2 tablespoons to your salad, and you've just turned a low-calorie meal into something much heavier. Then there are the bites, licks, and tastes we don't think about. Maybe you grab a handful of chips while preparing dinner, or you finish the last few bites of your kid's plate. Those small actions might seem harmless, but over the course of a day, they can easily add up to a couple hundred extra calories. And that could be the difference between losing fat and staying stuck. To fix this, start paying attention to everything you eat. Track the small stuff, the oil, the creamer, the snacks. It might feel like overkill at first, but once you get in the habit, it becomes second nature. And trust me, the results are worth it. You'll finally start seeing progress because you're accounting for every calorie. Now, let's talk about the scale. If you're like most people, you probably have a love-hate relationship with it. One day, it shows a lower number, and you're ecstatic. The next day, it's up, and you feel defeated. This emotional roller coaster leads to mistake number 3, weighing yourself incorrectly and relying too much on day-to-day changes. Here's the truth. Your weight fluctuates all the time. It's influenced by things like water retention, hormone levels, the time of day, and even what you ate the day before. So if you're only stepping on the scale occasionally, you're not getting an accurate picture of your progress. The solution? Weigh yourself every morning under the same conditions. Do it after using the bathroom and before eating or drinking anything. Write down your weight every day, then calculate the weekly average. By comparing these weekly averages, you'll get a much clearer sense of your actual progress. And don't panic if the number doesn't drop every single week. Fat loss isn't linear, and your body might hold on to water or adjust in ways that temporarily mask your progress. What matters is the trend over time. If your average weight is going down over the course of a month, you're on the right track. Now, let's address mistake number 4, which is a big one: overestimating how many calories you burn during exercise. I get it. When you finish a hard workout, it feels like you've earned a big meal. You might even check your fitness tracker or the machine at the gym to see how many calories you burned, and the numbers can be pretty exciting. Wow, I burned 500 calories, you think. But here's the problem: those numbers are often wildly inaccurate. Studies show that fitness trackers and cardio machines tend to overestimate calories burned by as much as 70%. So if your treadmill says you burned 500 calories, the real number might only be 300. And if you eat based on that inflated number, you could easily erase your calorie deficit, or worse, end up in a surplus. The key here is to remember that fat loss happens in the kitchen, not just in the gym. Don't rely on your workouts to justify eating more. Instead, think of exercise as a bonus, a way to create a larger calorie deficit and improve your overall health. Stick to a set daily calorie goal based on your activity level, and don't use your workouts as an excuse to overeat. Finally, let's talk about mistake number 5, focusing only on the scale. Yes, the scale is one way to measure progress, but it's not the only way, and it's certainly not the best way. Here's why. When you're losing fat and building muscle at the same time, a process known as body recomposition, the scale might not move as much as you'd like. For example, imagine you lose 5 pounds of fat but gain 3 pounds of muscle. The scale will only show a 2-pound drop, even though your body looks completely different. That's why it's so important to track other forms of progress. Take weekly progress photos, measure your waist and other key areas, and pay attention to how your clothes fit. These are often much better indicators of fat loss than the number on the scale. And don't forget about your performance in the gym. If you're lifting heavier weights or improving your endurance, that's a huge win. Strength and fitness improvements mean your body is adapting and getting healthier, even if the scale isn't cooperating as much as you'd like. So, to recap, stop underestimating your calorie intake, be mindful of hitting calories, weigh yourself correctly, don't overestimate your calories burned, and focus on more than just the scale. These 5 mistakes might seem small, but they can have a massive impact on your results. Fix them, and you'll finally start to see the fat loss progress you've been working so hard for. Remember, this isn't about being perfect. It's about being consistent and making small adjustments as you go. Fat loss is a journey, and every step you take brings you closer to your goal. So, don't give up, you've got this. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like and subscribe for more whiteboard fitness advice to help you crush your goals. And hey, let me know in the comments what your goals for 2025 are, and if you're excited to keep on going with your fitness journey. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.